Hey, Gavax here. So I've gotten quite a few requests to build a million coin lineup for people who, probably have about a million coins and want to know what cards to get. I'm not going to include any free cards. That would make this like way too easy. But if you're doing the game, go ahead and do a bunch of solos. You will build a stack. You'll build some free cards for yourself. You can just choose different positions. But that's kind of what we're doing. Also, I don't know necessarily that this is the best way of building the squad. You know what I mean? Like by doing sets and getting end cats back from those sets kind of cheaper, a decent way of getting a good foundation, at least through some offensive alignment and stuff. But now, to be fair, end cats do kind of suck, and the market's more fun. So a million coin lineup, obviously sub out the positions you already have in your lineup. But let's go through. First of all, is going to be the offensive line. I don't really respect offensive linemen in this game. I just really haven't seen them do as much as I want them to do. So we're basically to start off, right? I don't think you should invest much into your offensive lineman. It should be one of the last things you guys put together for your team with kind of like whatever you have left over to kind of take care of it. And so basically, we're gonna get a lot of like value cards in the middle of the 80s. A lot of guys around 17, 18K, hopefully under 20K. As we're kind of building out, because I do feel like the skill positions do matter more. I've seen like 95 overalls get killed by 91 overalls, and it's just I don't know. It is what it is, and the other way is true. Like 84 overall guards are still on my. I just recently switched theme teams, but was using an 84 overall and it was great. All right, for tight end though, like if you recall my last video on great budget cards, this card is it, right? I think it got my number 1 and my number 2 spot. Kyle Pitts. He's tall, he's fast. You're not going to spend all million coins on one card, so you're going to go ahead and go down a little bit, right? 90 speed on a tight end that's 6'6". Yes, please. You are going to be my number 1 tight end. So there's the front right away. Pretty basic, right? Like I try to spend a little bit here. Obviously, you don't want to go with like 70s. You don't want to go in the 60s. But I think once you get to like that mid to high 80s range, you're all right. Maybe, once you start earning more coins, if you play head-to-head online with this squad, we'll talk about abilities in a bit. And abilities, I didn't really factor into the price, but we still spent on those positions quite a lot, right? So it's not like I actually killed and tanked my offense line completely by running golds, but you might be able to try and get away with lower overalls if you want to save the moolah right away. All right. Then at the wide receiver, we'll go ahead and do next. I really like this Daniel Jones card. He's actually pretty cheap, 100K. I mean, not cheap, it's a 10th of your budget for the card, but he's tall, he's fast. I mean, you could go ahead and try for 25 out of 50 theme team to get like the extra speed. Obviously, you're not going to get strat cards, but you're trying to etch out as much speed as possible. Without the strat cards, it's a little bit harder, especially guys plays against guys going with man coverage. Then it's really hard to get separation. You really got to run like a lot of zigs and posts and motion slants and stuff. But Daniel Jones, especially with his cheap abilities that are already baked in for free, I really do enjoy that card. So he's there. You can also put him at your slot receiver because he does have the slot ability built into him. So he's not a bad number 3 right there. We'll keep him out at number 2 for now. Number 1, we're going to go DJ Shark, I think, at number 1 because he's tall, right? 50K for him, 92 speed at 6'4", so one of the fastest guys you can get for a decent price and one of the tallest. You could go like shorter and fast too, and we'll do a little bit for the slot, but we're I don't know. I kind of like cheaped out at this spot. 6 foot, 93 speed. Also, the route running 76, or medium. The things are over 75, at least for deep and medium. Short's kind of low, so Quez could be a little bit of disappointment. But I just wanted raw speed here at this position of wide receiver. The halfback again, you want speed. We're getting a lot of. Oh, I spelled it wrong. We're getting a lot of like zero chill cards because they generally come out with cards that are a lot better later on, but I really like this card. Like some people were talking about like other cards maybe out of position that had lower carrying. I didn't love like the Tavon Austin card because it's like really low carrying. But so 92 speed, 5'11 is your running back, 215. Not a terrible weight for a running back. Obviously, you want that the higher the better. You can go with somebody more plotting, somebody a little slower maybe. I think like Derrick Henry. You could get a little Garrett Blunt type legend card. One of his lower ones is like a backup if you do need somebody just like heavy to get in there. Obviously, I'll talk about the fullback in a second. He's gonna be heavy and great for short yardage situation too. So like if you want to go with 250 pounds right there with 85 speed for 15K extra as like a backup for short yardage situations, that's an option. Otherwise, like This Akeem Hicks is actually like wildly good for a fullback. 85 speed at 6'4", 352. Great plug to play. He's really cheap too. So probably one of the most cost efficient fullbacks for what you need, both fullback dive and blocking. For 85 speed is really nice. Quarterback, this is the big buy. I think this card is just so overpowered. You need him in your lineup. 300K for like the best quarterback we've seen in a long time. This card should be like 2 million coins, but the fact that this apply is bonkers makes it only 300K. So you saw why I cheaped out on the rest of the roster just so you could use this as escape artist Derrick Henry. The only issue is like everybody is basing their defenses right now around escape artists because it's everywhere. So you might want to go. There's a value to this thinking is to go off meta and use a pocket passer now because people are going to be using like more contains and stuff. And that's when you use a pocket passer, you'll lose it. Pocket passer in this game can still get outside the pocket a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure you had the best card in the game at your quarterback spot because the quarterback, just like the real NFL, is the most important position on the field. So really going with somebody that's basically minned out price for maxed out by a mile with the effectiveness. It's incredible. It's like eating 50 hot dogs in 12 minutes. I've done it. Can you? It's kind of incredible. Yeah, people weren't even mad about it. It was crazy. I ate everybody's hot dogs. But anyways, it was a whole thing at a picnic. But that's the offense, right? So the offense I spent 615 on. I do think like in most Maddens, you want to spend more on your defense than offense because like you can only control one player on defense, whereas like kind of like you can pick and choose. You're always controlling the ball carrier on offense. But like in this year's game, I feel like you definitely want to score. You absolutely need to score almost every single drive. If you kick a field goal, you've basically lost the drive. That's how extreme Madden 22 is on offense. At least next gen. Last gen, it's a little different where it's a little bit easier to play defense because the user's so much better. So defense, we're going to spend like 400K here. So we're going to get a little bit less here. But let's talk about the free safety positions of defense and how you want to do. Oh, we'll talk about abilities at the end on offense and defense. Right here, I like Diablo. He's not the greatest cover guy on his own. He is a strong safety. Diablo. I might actually switch him around. Natural position. The only issue with this one is the 82 zone. I kind of want to see that at 90. But I didn't really love a whole lot of other free safeties for around this price. So you got to go Diablo. He's tall. He's fast. And it's kind of what you need for that price. For 30K, he's a heck of a deal. This one is kind of going to be a weird one. Haloti is actually kind of nice. 89 speed is, slow. It's not great. But the zone coverage at 90 means he's going to be reacting to balls better than just about any other guard you can get for that price low. He's also 6'4". I mean, it's crazy. Obviously, if you got a God Squad, it doesn't look incredible, but these two cards, you can do a lot worse there for the budget that you're at. At the cornerback, I'm still looking for guys because I think you should run a zone scheme right away. If you're trying to run a man scheme, you're going to get killed with the budget team. Man schemes are pay-to-win schemes. So we're going to go with 91 Mike Haynes, 90 man coverage, 90 zone. So we can play man coverage, but this 90 zone is very important to the team at that spot. Right here, we're going to get greedy at this spot with Quincy Williams. And you know what? You could have gone somebody else. I was looking at other guys besides for this one. Obviously, in my budget team, I think I had... Who was that I had in my budget team? I can't even scroll down that far. But that was another good choice. So is your options out there out wide. I went with Haynes instead. But right here, this is where I went cheap because I got a little expensive with some of my other budget players. I really wanted a third corner at the 90 zone number. I forgot who I took in my budget video right now, but I initially had him here as one of these cornerbacks. But I decided to go cheaper on him. Mike Haynes could have been replaced to Eric Stokes there, so it's kind of like a horse apiece right there. 6 in one hand, half a dozen hot dogs in another. All right, Jeremy Chin. He is going to be subbed in during the game. He's a free safety. You got to sub in during the game. You can't sub in the sub screen. And he's going to be a user. The other one is going to be, I could see somebody, I don't know. I went with Jarkeezy Tart, but I could see somebody else here at this spot as a sub user, somebody even cheaper than 17K if you want to sub. If you want to go real cheap, there was the, that Washington. Man, I should have had my budget thing up. But Troy Apke. Troy Apke would have been another budget guy, but he is really low overall. As for edges, we're going to go with Ted Hendricks here. I was really thinking about going with somebody a little bit like Owe, right, from the Baltimore Ravens, who was a little bit pricier, but like power move 88, block shed 90. I kind of just wanted a 6'7" body on the field. Maybe he's not the greatest edge, but I have never had a problem with him out there either rushing the passer or going after it. Kevin Green plays above his stats without a doubt. So two guys about 60 to 70K each on your edges. I think edges are pretty important in this game for pass rushing if you're going to run like a regular four-man rush. If you're doing loop blitzes, obviously they're not as important there, but they both got good block shed, good pass rush moves. Logan Wilson's team of the week is going to be middle linebacker. 1, good speed, that's what I'm looking for. Hit power at 84, solid, 6'2", 241. And then another cheap one here is Quincy Williams, the 91 overall. He also has high hit power and speed, and that's kind of what we're looking for. Really only out there on goal line situations, so I went really cheap on them. You can, obviously don't even bother with them if you want. Right end, I don't know how much Leroy Selmon's going to play, so I decided to go and cheap out on the right end because, like, the edge rushers are going to be your edges, right? Like, these aren't really going to be out there very much for you. So I went with 85 overall. We went with Bruce Smith. He's got like a solid balance across the board, low 80 stats. Obviously, to make 1 million coins, you got to cheap out. We actually, looks like we're up a little bit from when I put this together, but defensive tackle, we're also, here's the reason why I went cheap on defensive tackle, because you're going to want inside stuff. You're going to want those guys, like inside stuff will just stop the run, right? So like the fact that Warren Sapp's 85 and the 85 Vince Wilfork both get it, that didn't work, means like I don't really need their top cards. Yeah, we're going to lose speed versus them. 67 speed is brutally slow. And Vince Wilfork's at 75 speed. That's actually not too bad for a defense tackle. So these 85s are really nice. So abilities, what do you add on? I would definitely on defense add inside stuff at least first and double inside stuff. Then I'd work on acrobats. I would throw acrobats on like your user. If you can, Diablo, if you can move Tart over here and user Diablo, throw acrobat on him. And then I would kind of stick there on defense before doing too many more acros and pick artists. Those are the ones I go for. Otherwise, double or nothing on Kevin Green is actually great. So if you feel like double or nothing and unpredictable on him, he's a monster off the edge. If you want to go with a pass rusher. On offense, really what you need is you activate Daniel Jones, obviously, as he's free. Derrick Henry, escape artist, and gunslinger. And that's kind of what you need, right? Everything else after that, like deep out elite is great to go with this offense if you can afford it. But I would try to spend, if you're going to do it, you obviously got to, spend the training to get Derrick Henry power up to 97 overall, which is just like on his card. You don't actually have to get his power up. Gunslinger, escape artist are the first two abilities you need to get for your roster, okay? And then you can go over to defense. And then see what I'm saying? Gunslinger, escape artist. You can go with some, tight end or slot apprentices if you want, if you need those extra hot routes. Otherwise, ignore them. Just go with like deep out elites on offense. But yeah, definitely Gunslinger, escape artist, get the inside stuffs next, and then maybe edge if you just want a 4-man pressure, get like double or nothing. But before double or nothing, go acrobat, okay? Acrobat on your user, then double or nothing. So that's where I kind of suggest you spending your coins. Set it up at 1.07, so slightly over the target. You can go cheaper at places, maybe cheap out at maybe cheaper at the edge. I would say for Ted Hendricks, maybe one of his lower cards if you really want to go. Hendricks here. Let's take a look at maybe an 8. Already using them. Oh, I can't take them off, can I? Anyways, that's what I'd do. That's how I'd spend 1 million coins to lead the most effective offense and defense possible. I hope this video helped you guys deciding on how to build a budget team. Obviously, you're then going to want to upgrade Quez Watkins once you get this team. I feel like it's the first upgrade. Basically, go out in the field, see how it plays for you, and then like go from there and like who was weak for you, who played well, and then like build up the weak spots. But that's it for the video. Thanks for watching Call to Action. See you tomorrow.